I'm Edie Lush, and I'm here inside the Hub Culture studio. It's the end of Davos 2020. Really pleased to be joined by Dr. Gail Whiteman from the Arctic Basecamp, among many other things.
That's right, Edie.
But tell me about the Arctic Basecamp, why you've done it here in Davos, and the community that seems to be building around it.
Yeah, so Arctic Basecamp is a science solution outreach platform, and it's our 4th year at Davos. We've been here since 2017, and we set up a real Arctic Basecamp tent, and scientists and crew camp there, and then we partner with people with solutions. So the reason why we come is that we know that the physical changes that are happening in the Arctic from climate change pose global threats for the rest of the world. And there's no better place to discuss global risk than here in Davos.
Absolutely. So what have been some of the conversations that you've heard, that you have thought have been, because sometimes I think Davos gets criticized for being all about talk, not about action. Is there anything that's really struck you from this week that is, you think, that's interesting?
Yeah, I think 3 things actually. So the first one is that we brought a youth delegation to camp with us, and I think that we can see everywhere it's the year and probably the next year of the youth as well. So there's a groundswell of support for young climate voices, and people are not just seeing that as tokenistic, they're actually really genuinely interested. So many people came to talk to our global candidates from around the world, and that was superb. The second thing is that the Arctic itself has become a topic of interest to the World Economic Forum. So they had an official session this year inside the Congress Hall. I was the science speaker, and we had a great panel, including the Prime Minister of Finland, and that hadn't happened before. It was packed. They've done an earlier one on the Arctic many years ago, and it was more about shipping and extraction, and this was more about global risk and climate change, so quite different inside. And the third thing is, just from the conversations that I've been having with people attending Davos Week, there seems to be a real commitment to climate action. There's a commitment to climate science, so understood, accepted. And I think there's a real push about how can the finance and investment community really make it happen. And there's been some shocking conversations, I think, around that, especially in the shipping industry with fossil fuels. Yeah, that's what I heard, that there was some pretty strong language in a closed-door session from the banking and finance sector to some of the fossil fuel folks saying, you know, if you don't divest from this or have a good plan, we're going to starve you of investment.
Yeah, I think divest was the word that I was hoping to hear and was delighted that I heard it a lot.
And I really didn't think that I would hear that, except in more of a soundbite sort of way. But I saw some people kind of in shock about it, and that gave me hope.
Great, because I want you to give a call to action to viewers of why we need to care right now.
Well, it's really clear when you look at the Arctic and how much of the ice we've lost. We've lost 50% of summer sea ice since the 1970s and 75% of the volume. That ice, that white, is the big albedo effect that bounces sunlight back out into the atmosphere. Without it, we lose our insurance policy against runaway climate change, and we've lost a lot of it. So we need to do only one thing, and that's bend the emissions curve now.
Dr. Gail Whiteman, thanks so much for stopping by the Hub Culture studio, and I'm Edie Lush.